So, welcome students. We are just going to be recap of your all these chapters, the adolescence age. So, age of adolescence. First of all, we have to understand about what is adolescence. So, growing up is the natural process. Everybody knows whenever we are in the childhood stage. So, whenever we are in the childhood stage, that time have the some different type of the changes you have find it out. And this time when the you are growing or in your life, so that you have seen the some changes also in the face, some changes into the voice, some changes into the body. So the something different type of the changes you are getting. So this is called the adolescence. So human beings undergoes the several changes and during this adolescence students, and so this is called the one state of puberty. So I want to tell you about that what is happening into the puberty. So puberty is that the height will definitely will change. So if I am talking about the formula, so that whatever your actual height right now, so in the NCERT also you will see that particular page number. So page number 114, you will see that in the science book activity 10.1. So in that is given the chart. So if I talk about that chart in the different age, so in the different age is having like an 8 years, the boys should be the 72% and the girls should be the 77%. Or if I talk into the 9 years, 75% and then 84%. And if I talk about the 11 years, so that height of that particular percentage of the height should be 81% and the 88%. So what is that this percentage? So whatever the current your centimeter, so you just measure your height in the centimeter and divide with that chart whatever the percentage is given and then multiply by the 100 and give me the answers into the chart. So this is basically the percentage of height divided by the percentage of that full height of this age and multiplied by 100 and definitely you will get something. So I am giving you the one questions like in the page numbers 114 also it is given. So a boy is 9-year-old and 120 centimeter tall. So at the end of the growth period he is likely to be how much you have to take. Again I am telling you, boy is 9-year-old and 120 centimeter tall. End of the growth period he is likely to be, and in the place of the 9 years you just have to be converted the 11 years and then you find it out. A boy is 11-year-old and his height is 160 tall. At the end of the growth period he is likely to be how much. Okay, so this is the one very important things I hope you can do. So increasing of height is the one thing. Second, the body shape is also going to be changed. You have seen that sometimes we are just showing the muscles, or sometimes that shoulder is broader and the chest is also going to be broader. So that you have noticed that the boys in your class have the broader shoulders and something like you were teaching from that a very small stage. So in this, muscles also grow, face also going to be changed. So lots of that things is just coming students. Third very important things like a voice box. Voice box, so some students' voice is going to be changed in your class. So puberty, the voice box or we call the larynx. So larynx or voice box is just going to be begin to grow. Boys develops larger voice, that's why he will start shouting. And the growing voice box is the voice can be seen into this one. So this is also having here. If I talk about that, this part is called Adam's apple. In the girls, you cannot see hardly it is visible or either outside or either it is not visible, but in the boys it is visible. So students, if I talk about that, the girls have the high pitch voice. Girls have high pitch voice, but in the boys have the deep voice. Boys have deep voice. So in the adolescence age students, you have seen the muscle is growing, voice box is also growing, which are controlled by the hormones. Hormones. What is the new name? Hormones. Hormones is what? It is the chemical substance which are secreting by that particular glands. So if I talk about that thyroid gland secretes which type of the hormones? Who will tell me? Okay. Anybody? Okay. So here is that thyroxine. Thyroxine is a very important gland which are controlling all the metabolic activities. So students, here we are increasing the sweat and the sweat glands also during the puberty of that secretion of the sweat. So glands, the viscous gland or the oil glands we are telling about. So this is the oil glands. So it increases the many young people get acne or the pimples on the face also. So that we should consult with the doctor, we should not take our own medicine, otherwise it will create a problem. So in this age have the lots of the differences. Next point it comes into the puberty is that is the development of the sex organ. So already we have studied into the reproduction in animals about the sex organ of humans, and the puberty that male sex organs like the testis and the penis, so it's developed completely, and the testis also begun to produce the sperm also. You have seen in the girls the ovaries enlarge, the eggs begin to mature. So ovary start releasing the mature egg and testis start producing the sperm. So in this age students, the one very important changes you have seen that mental, intellectuals and emotional. In this period changes happens and into the persons by thinking. If we start going to think that why it is happened and what's that, we are very much self-conscious. So in this age we are very much self-conscious, and we have to be spend and consider about that time, the thinking, if anything happens, why it happens, my prestige is going to be down, my image is going to be down, why he is talking about that. So here is just developing that. So brain is having the very greatest capacity for learning. So sometimes adolescent may feel insecure, and we are just going to adjust to the changes in the body and the mind, or either if you have any doubts then you take the expert advice, or either you should talk to your parents, so it will be more helpful to understand about it. So you should know that no reason or feel secure about it. So these changes are a natural part of the growing up. So don't worry about that, these are happens, so you keep in your minds, it is the part of that development, so no problem. Secondary sexual characters, if I am talking about the secondary sexual characters, so you have learned into the chapter 9 also, what was that? The testis and the ovaries. Testis and ovaries are the reproductive organs, they produces the gametes. You know, the male gametes and female gametes. And the male gametes is called sperm and the female gametes is called ova. Here also one important thing, the sperm and ova in the girl begin to develop at the puberty age. So boys begin to grow facial hair also, that hair will come, and that is mustache also come, and the beard will come, so that the features have to distinguish the male and the female easily. So these are called the secondary sexual character. Boys is also have the developed hairs of the chest, and the boys also chest, and the boys and girls hair grow under the armpit also, inside of the armpits, and the region above the thigh and the pubic region. So this is also the changes which occurs at the adolescence and controlled by the hormones. So hormones are what? Here the question is, friends. So what is hormones? Hormones is basically, it is a chemical substance. Which chemical substance are just going to secrete from the endocrine glands. Endocrine glands, the male hormones is testosterone, and the female hormones is estrogen or either progesterone. So that by this causes changes the boys about which you have just learned, and the growth of facial hair, and once puberty is released, so you have seen the growth of facial hair also, and yes, female or the estrogens also make the breast developments. The gland through which the milk is producing by the mother is called which gland? So milk secreting glands are the mammary glands, and the production of these hormones is basically happens, and hormones secrete from the endocrine gland, that is called pituitary gland. So pituitary glands is called the master glands. Why? Because it will control all the other things also inside the body. Role of the hormones, the function is that whatever the hormones was just released by the endocrine glands has reached to that particular organ or that place, it's called the target site. So what is target site? Here the one question also going to be arises, and the target site respond to the hormones. So these are many endocrine glands or the ductile glands into the body. So all of you have to understand about, and this is the chart. Testes and ovaries secretes the sex hormones, and you have just learned about these hormones. What are the responsibilities for the male and female hormones, Okay. Secondary sexual characters. So the sex hormones are under the control of hormones from the pituitary gland. That's why we call pituitary gland is the master gland. So one of which makes ova mature in the ovaries and sperm from the testes. Okay, student. Here is that reproductive phase into the life humans, which are very much important to understand about. If the first time you have seen, if the blood is just start coming and when the age is of the 10 to 12 and it goes, so the ova begin to mature in the one set of the puberties, and during this period the wall of the uterus become thick so as to receive the egg, and in the case it is fertilized and begin to develop, this is result in the pregnancy. So if fertilized does not occur, the released egg and the thickened lining of the uterus along with the blood vessels are set out. So this causes bleeding into the woman, which is called menstruation. So this is the menstruation cycles. Always you are knowing about that menstruation occurs once into the month, 28 to 30 days. The first menstruation flow begins to puberty in the term of menarche. The first. So whenever the first it happens, that is called menarche, and at the 45 to 50 years age the menstruation cycle stops. So this stoppage of the menstruation is termed as menopause. What we call menopause. So menstruation cycle irregular, takes some time to be regular. So we should not be worried about that. We should take the consult of the doctors. And this menstruation cycle controlled by the hormones only. So the cycle includes the maturation of the egg, so it releases thickness of the uterine wall, and its breakdown of the pregnancy does not occur. So if your menstruation is continuing, means that there is no pregnancy. If it will stop, then also we have to do the checking of these things, is it pregnant or what. So if the pregnancy does not occur, in case the egg is fertilized and begin to divide into the different parts, and uterus for further developments we have learned into the chapter 9 already. Students, if I talk about that number of chromosomes. So we know that chromosomes are thread-like structure. What is that chromosomes? Thread-like structure. So in the thread-like structures, that is called chromosomes into the fertilized egg. Recall from this chapter 8 already we have discussed. So the chromosomes are present inside the human bodies, 23 pairs of chromosomes. But in the girls it is XX, in the boys it is XY. So female have two X chromosomes while the male have the X and Y chromosome, and X and Y chromosomes is called the sex chromosomes, which are determining the sex of the baby, either it is male or female. So only the father is having the capacity to change that things, it is not having the mother capacity. But this time have that we are going to keep the such a great truth, so we have to understand. So students, in the page number, I hope that page number 119 is having the one figure 10.4 that you have to draw, and 10.5 also you have to draw. 10.5 is going to tell the position of the endocrine glands from where the hormones are coming out, and 10.4 is just going to tell you how the chromosomes are haploids and the sex of the body baby is going to be determined. So hormones other than sex organs also is having, which are having the different types of that mechanism. So students, anyone have any type of the doubts, then you should consult with the doctors or anything, the boy. So here throat, in the throat also you have seen that some problems comes due to the lack of thyroid hormones. So can you tell me that what is that disorder? That is goiter. Or sometimes you have seen that there is uncle is suffering from the diabetes because the pancreas was not producing what it is not producing, and what injection they are taking into the diabetes. Yeah, very good. That is insulin. Sufficient quantities Bujo has paheli, then ask them and about the adrenal glands, which are also responsible for that. So adrenal glands secrete the hormones which maintain the correct balance into the blood salt. If your salt level is not balanced, then you will angry, you will depressed, you are feeling insecure, you are having some fear, you are having such a different type of that problem. So the body will not adjust, and it is come into the stress. So when one is very angry, it means that have the hormonal changes, or somebody is embraced, or some emotional things are there. So thyroids and adrenals secretes their hormones when they receive orders from the pituitary. So that pituitary is the master glands which are going to control all other glands also. So pituitary also secrete the growth hormones which necessary for the normal growth of the person. So this happens, students. I hope that it is very much clear to understand about. And role of the hormones is very important for you. We have already understand about the caterpillar, how the egg is going to be converted into that caterpillars, and caterpillars are that converted into the frog, and then how it is just changing. And the one hormones is working, that is the thyroid hormones, and the process is metamorphosis. So all of you draw the metamorphosis. This is the life cycle of the frog. Fine. So changes in the larva to adult, that is called metamorphosis, and the metamorphosis is in the insect controlled by the insect hormones, and frog it is controlled by the thyroxine hormones, and thyroxine hormones are produced by the glands, that is thyroid glands, which is here. So if the water in the tadpole or growing does not contain sufficient iodine, so iodine we have to take through the salt. If we are not taking the iodine properly, definitely what happens, it will create some different type of the changes. Fine. So students, I want to tell you about in the Globus Academy we are running the online classes. So Globus Academy, you can type into the Google Play stores, and from there you can register yourself. You can tell to the parents also, you can register, and you can take the classes online. It will be more helpful for you all. Very nominal cost we are giving. Doubt classes, crash course, weekly classes, monthly classes, all the subjects. Thank you so much. Bye bye and good day.